Hi, happy April. I'm Hannah, and today I'm going to talk about everything I worked on during the month of March. So for this, I'm going to walk through all of my knitting for the month of March. So starting with my finished objects, I have 2 of those today. And then I will walk through all of my works in progress. There's some really exciting new ones in this batch. And then I will finish with acquisition, so new yarn that's come into my stash in the month of March. So let's just jump right in. So my first finished object, very exciting, is the sweater I'm wearing today. This is the, plant. This is the Sonja sweater by Petite Knit, and I made this in Malabrigo Rios in the color Matisse Blue, held together with Lang Yarns Alpaca Super Light in color 6. That one unfortunately is discontinued. I did have some in stash and found enough of it that was still being sold to make this sweater. I'll insert some footage of kind of how this is fitting, but it is just a pretty basic drop shoulder, all over stockinette sweater with some short row shaping on the back and on the shoulders on both sides and on the arm, I think. Definitely some short row shaping in there. I'm maybe mixing up my patterns, but yeah, I really just love how this turned out. I finished this probably early mid-March and I have worn it a ton. I've particularly been really loving it with the green beanie I finished a few months ago. I'll put a picture in of that combo. I don't know, something about the blue and green I'm really into. A couple notes about the pattern. I think I made, or a couple of modifications that I made. I think I made the body a little bit shorter than recommended, which I usually do just because I am on the shorter side. Yeah, I think my gauge was a little bit off, and so I ended up knitting an extra small, and it's measuring to be like a medium, but that's just, I generally have a loose gauge. I knit pretty loosely, so that's something I do quite often. That's just a me thing, I guess. But yeah, other than that, I think I basically followed the pattern to a T. The collar is definitely a little bit on the looser side. As you can see, I'm just wearing a crew neck t-shirt under this right now. I don't dislike how this looks, but I do feel like I could have probably, and this would be an easy fix if I wanted to do this, undo the collar, and then just make it a little bit thicker, just knit a couple extra rows before I fold over. And yeah, I don't know, I'll see how it wears with time, if it gets more stretched out. So far it's been fine. But yeah, just a minor thing. I may put elastic in it at some point too if it needs it, but yeah, this sweater is also technically machine washable. Both these yarns can be put in the washing machine. I'm a little afraid to. I don't know, it just seems I guess my mind is just trained to not put my knitwear in the washing machine, so I'm I don't know what could happen, but that is nice. So maybe I will try that eventually, but right now I'm a little too scared. Yeah, I think that's it for this one. I definitely love the finished object, have gotten a lot of wear out of it, like I said, and would totally make this pattern again as well. Maybe just adjust the collar a little bit next time. I have one more finished object today, and that is also blue. This is gonna look a little goofy. They're same but different shades of blue. This is the Lay Bandana pattern, and this is by Amy Gill. It is just a stockinette bandana knit side to side. So you start on one end, increase until you get to your center point, and then decrease, decrease. It has a built-in I-cord on both sides, so you don't have to do any finishing. And yeah, what's great about this pattern working side to side is you can just use, if you want to, you can just use one skein of yarn or one ball of yarn, which is what I did. And I weighed it, and then once I got just a little over halfway done with it, I switched. That's how I knew where my halfway point was. So I basically was able to use the entire ball of yarn, and yeah, I really like the size it came out. I'll put it on. I've been wearing it, I guess, 2 different ways. One, I'll like put the triangle in front, wrap it around, kind of like a little scarf like this. Probably not with a blue sweater, it's a little blue overkill, but you get the vibe. Or I've been wearing it with like the triangle in the back and then pulling this forward and like maybe doing a little tie here too. So yeah, I think it's cute and fun. It's like a nice, it is quite warm. I'll talk about the yarn in a minute, but like I feel like you can definitely like bundle it up and make it like a warmer scarf if you need the warmth on your neck, but you can also kind of wear it more like loose, and it's good for like transitional seasons. So yeah, very easy to follow pattern as well. It's pretty simple, but it's got like just enough going on with the increases, decreases, and the I-cord that it's still interesting to work up. I'd love to make more bandanas and maybe some with like lace work or other textures, other things going on, just to have something a little different. But yeah, the yarn for this is I actually got for free at like a giveaway event thing last year where someone was giving away someone's yarn stash, and I scored this cashmere, which I was like really wanting to use but not sure what to do with just one skein of cashmere yarn. And then, I don't know, got this idea and really happy this is what I made with it. The yarn is Plucky Knitter in Cashmere Sport. And the colorway is called One Hit Wonder. I don't think they make it or sell this specifically anymore, but they do have like other cashmere yarns that they sell. Yeah, and I do love this yarn. It still looks pretty like solid blue, but if you look closely, you can see there's definitely some hand-dyed variability to it, which is really nice. So happy with this. This is like my first like tiny scarf bandana kind of knit, and I wasn't sure like exactly how much I'd wear it or how I'd wear it, but I am glad I made it, and I think I will make more. And it's also just so soft. So that's everything I've finished this month, although I have many works in progress. So I definitely have been doing a lot of knitting. Let's see. Okay, we're actually just gonna start with the most exciting thing first. Oh, what is this connected to? Oh my goodness. Okay. I just have like cords and needles falling from the sky. Okay, so I talked a little bit in my last video about how I am taking a class right now through a local farm that offers, it's called Sheep to Garment Fiber School class. And so we're going the whole process from sheep shearing all the way to a finished garment, processing the fleece, cleaning it, brushing it, spinning it, knitting it, wearing it, doing the whole thing. So that class is running from February, and then it ends in early May. So yeah, I knew I knew March and April would get busy for me with this class, just knowing I was planning on making a sweater. So basically spinning a sweater quantity worth of yarn and knitting it in 2 months. It's a little tight, but you'll see here, I've actually made a ton of progress this month. So I'll show you a little sneak peek of my yarn. It's attached to my sweater right now. But it is just this nice, dark, rich brown color. And my fleece also has some like lighter tips to it. So you'll see there's some like lighter flecks there. So there's definitely some color variability. There's also like hints of gray and all sorts of stuff going on, which it's just really been fun to spin and work with in general. But anyways, I've spun quite a bit. My yarn ended up a bit thicker than expected, which this is like my first proper spinning for a project. So I knew that the spinning was like my weak point. Anyways, it my yarn's a little bit thicker than I was thinking it would be, like worsted Aran, and it's definitely like chunky. All that to say though is I've had to spin less and knit less because my yarn is thicker. I knew I wanted to make a sweater, but when I was thinking exactly about like what I wanted to make, I don't know, I just wanted like a classic, timeless piece that was like unique enough and like fit my style, my personality. But yeah, basically I just want, like, because this is such a special process, something that I will wear forever. Or that's the hope, at least. So I ended up picking out the Lakes pullover by Ozetta, and yeah, this is a saddle shoulder construction, kind of oversized, pretty basic sweater, but I don't know, it's like just like my ideal sweater, I guess. Yeah, I hadn't knit an Ozetta pattern before yet either, and I've heard great things, so it's been on my list to make this, and I thought this would be great yarn to use for it. So because my yarn ended up being thicker than expected, I am knitting quite significantly off gauge. I ended up making this like spreadsheet where I like took all of the numbers from the pattern of what it's supposed to be for my size and then converted it to like my actual gauge. So like all of my numbers are different than the pattern, but I'm still following the pattern. Anyways, I'll show it to you. So as you can see, I've made quite a bit of progress. I have knit the entire body. I did the collar, and I am working about halfway through, maybe a little bit more than halfway on the first sleeve. So yeah, originally I didn't even think I would get to knitting on this in March. I thought I'd still be in the spinning process. I do still have some spinning to do because this is all I have left, so I will probably need to do about one more round of spinning, but I'm very happy with this progress. I'm loving how this is turning out. I love all of the color flecks in here. It's very textured. My yarn is not the most even, but I think that like really gives it almost this, not quite boucle, but like kind of that vibe. It's very fuzzy and textured and just has a lot of character, I guess. Yeah, I've been really enjoying the pattern. It's turning, yeah, I think it's turning out exactly how I want it to. I think that's kind of it for now. I am planning to do, and I have been filming like the whole process of fiber school. So I will have like a full video recapping, like starting like picking a fleece all the way to the finished garment, and documenting my process and learning how to do all that. So that will be a future video to come, which I'm really excited about. I'm glad to be documenting the whole process. So yeah, I guess this is a sneak peek for that. I definitely will get this finished in the next few weeks here, and I'm excited to kind of finish up this project. Very time-consuming but well worth it project I've been working on for a few months now. Let's see. This one's close to me. I think I talked about this a little bit in my last video as well, but I started the Daydreamer cardigan by Veronica Lindberg or Kutabakika. Let me get this a little bit untangled here. I haven't made a ton of progress, but I've definitely worked on it a bit in the month of March. This is the right side. So here's the start of it. Starting to do some increases and all that good stuff, as you can see. This is a top-down raglan construction cardigan in half fisherman's rib. Yeah, I think that's the basics of it. And this, to me, is very much inspired by this. This is on a meal cardigan, and the rust color specifically is what I'm going for. So I had this in stash for a while now. This is the Queensland Collection Falkland Worsted. It is a merino, 100% merino in the colorway Tawny. So So this nice rusty orangey color. And I ended up buying Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair and pomegranate to match. So this one's a bit more red. This is a little bit more orange, but I do think they pair well quite nicely to make this. And this one I am surprisingly right on gauge. I feel like that rarely happens to me, but I am like exactly where I need to be, which is great. I think I did end up sizing up a little bit. Her cardigan is suggested to have 6 to 12 inches of positive ease. I was kind of in between sizes, and so I ended up going with the larger size just so that this is more of an oversized fit, which is kind of what I was going for, rather than running the risk of it being like less than 6 inches of ease. But anyways, yeah, I feel like this one, it's my first time working in half fisherman's rib. It was pretty easy to learn. It definitely takes some focus. I am also like slightly afraid of if I drop a stitch or something, I don't really know how to fix it. So I assume I will have to cross that bridge at some point while making this if I drop a stitch. But yeah, I've been working on a different project I'll show you in a minute, that both of them were like new to me techniques and textures. So I was working on this at the beginning of the month, and then the next project I'll show you is what I started like midway through the month, and then I was kind of focusing on that, and it was a little tricky for me to go back and forth between the two of them. So anyways, all that to say is I haven't worked on this in a few weeks, but I did make some progress on it at the beginning of March. The project that's been taking up most of my time, if I'm not working on my fiber school stuff, it has been this. This is the Rib Lace Raglan pattern by James and Watts. We're not related, although we do have the same last name. That would be cool though. At least we're not related to my knowledge. Anyways, this is it so far. So this is an all over lace pattern raglan construction. It can be short sleeve or long sleeve. I'm still undecided. I am gonna see how much yarn I have. And yeah, it's just a 2-row repeat, and all it is, this is my first time doing lace, so I was like a little not sure how difficult it was gonna be, but all it is knit 2 together and yarn over. And then the next row is yarn over, knit 2 together. So very simple. It does take a little bit of concentration just to make sure you're doing the right part of the repeat, but it is quite easy to learn to read your work to figure out exactly what you should be doing. But anyways, I'm pretty far along the body. I think it's probably time for a try on here soon to see exactly how much longer I want to go. I'm picturing this as like a pool or beach cover up. I do think I could also like wear just like a tank top or something underneath and just wear it as an everyday shirt. So the yarn, I'm having a little bit of a saga with the yarn. This is the Appalachian Baby Design US Organic Cotton. It is a sport weight, 100% organic cotton. This is a colorway natural. So this yarn I got probably about a year ago now, and last summer I started knitting up the Net Tot by Knit Diet with it, which is kind of similar vibes like in that, but instead of lace work, it's drop stitches. But the problem with that is you have to like knit the whole thing, and then at the end you drop the stitches. So when I did that, it got a lot bigger than I thought it would. So long story short, that project was just a flop. I let it sit there until about, a few weeks ago when I started this. So I unraveled the old project, and to get like the kinks out of the yarn, I just soaked it in water and let it dry. But when I did that, this cotton, I'm trying to find a good example. Some parts of this cotton turned almost orange. Heard of this happening before with cotton yarn in like natural, like undyed colors. I don't know, I might just have to get some B-roll. Yeah, I'll just get some B-roll to show you what it looks like in certain spots, but it's almost like the yarn didn't properly dry, like it was almost like crispy feeling a little bit, and it turned orange. There's also like mercerized and unmercerized cotton, and I know that's a thing, and like one's better than the other. I don't know. Clearly I need to do some more research on cotton yarn because something's happening here where parts of it have turned orange, and so yeah, I don't know. If you have any advice for how to deal with that, I'm curious to see when I block this, like wash and block it with soap and like properly dry it and everything, if it'll go away or potentially even get worse. But I guess in my mind, I'm just still knitting it, aware that this is an issue, and then my thought is I'll see how it turns out at the end, and if it's a problem, then I'll just over dye it. I'll dye it a different color, like as a finished object. So yeah, like I said, this is my first time dealing with it. This is when I've worked with 100% cotton before, but not in a natural color way. So this is, I don't know, a first for me. If you have any tips, let me know. If not, this might just turn to be a different color when I'm done with it. But other than that orange yarn changing color debacle, I'm really liking the pattern. I'm having fun with the lace work. I'm glad that I finally tried the lace work, and I think this will just be a really nice, cool summer top. Okay, 2 more. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? I guess 5 works in progress. It's not the worst. Okay, my camera just cut out, but hopefully it just cut off. It did in fact cut off more than I thought it did. I'm jumping in here to say that I was starting to talk about my French Connection socks by Summer Lee Knits. These are a pair of socks I started a few months ago now. Anyways, I'm not always in the mood to work on like tiny circumference or tiny needles, so this has taken me some time. Like I think it's taken me like 2 months to make one sock. But that's okay. It's not like a main focus for me right now. And yeah, I think these will be fun to have. This will be like my 2nd pair of socks I've knit, so still very new, beginner to sock knitting. 3rd pair. Yeah, I think 3rd pair. Anyways. So yeah, my plans are to make the 2nd sock in full, or make the 2nd sock tube, basically do the same thing again, and then I will make a heel, an afterthought heel on both of them, which if you're unfamiliar, afterthought heel, you just, to my knowledge, place a marker as you're working for like where you want the heel to go, and then you just keep knitting like this tube, like you don't do anything different, you just keep going, and then at the end, put your needles back on at the spot, and you cut into your knitting, which sounds quite scary, but I don't know, up for the challenge. So yeah. So far, happy with these. Maybe I'll have half a sock next month. We'll see how far I get. And the yarn on this one is, the main green is the Isager sock yarn in color 40. And this is Cascade Heritage. Ooh, do I have the label in here? Colorway of this on the screen because I forget, but anyways. It's a nice sky babyish blue and this green, and I think they pair nicely together. The last work in progress I have is one I started last year, kind of put in hibernation for the winter, and just decided to bring it back, I think just yesterday. This is the Maggie vest by Petite Knit. It is a top-down vest pattern. I guess like cardigan vest, has buttons down the front. And yeah, you basically work the body and then you'll do ribbing on the bottom, the button band, the collar, and this underarm, the like sleeve area. So yeah, I've just gotten a couple rows done on this. 90% of this I did last year. Whoa, we're all tangled. Hello? What's happening? Oh no, I'm making it worse. Jeez, that was way more complicated than it needed to be. So it looks a little bit wacky right now, but I promise it will turn into be a vest. It's just like rolling, and these armholes look huge, I think because of all the ribbing that you add at the end. But like, just looking at this, I'm like, this seems like it'll be like halfway down my torso. But anyways, I double checked the gauge when I picked this back up. I was like, am I on gauge? Because it seems like it's such a large armhole, and I was basically exactly on gauge, so that's not the problem. I think it just will look a lot different once all the ribbing is added. But yeah, I just have, so this yarn I bought when one of my local yarn stores was closing last year. It's Malabrio Caprino, and it's a merino cashmere blend, so it is super soft. It is definitely on the pricier side, but I got it 50% off when that yarn store is closing, so I thought it was worth the splurge. I don't normally knit in like this off-white color. Right now I have 2 projects in it, but like I said, I'm probably gonna dye that other one, and this was just like what they had in stock for the sale, and I don't know, I liked it enough to buy it, so I'm working with it. And I do think it'll be nice to have something in this color. I'm just like normally knitting with a little bit of color at least. But yeah, I also only have 2 skeins of this, and I was quite delusional last year in thinking that that would be just fine for a vest, even though like the yardage is way less than what the pattern calls for. And I literally have like, this is probably less than, I don't know how much this is, but 2 little balls of it left, and I was like, oh yeah, that'll be enough to finish the body and do all the ribbing. Like, there's no way. So I'm definitely gonna have to buy more. I'm hoping, because it's a natural color, that there are no dye lots, so I don't run into dye lot issues with the colors being different, buying it like a year and a half later from a different store because this one's closed. So that's something I need to figure out. I don't know. I had the thought of like, should I buy the yarn in a different color and do like the edging, like ribbing details in a different color? But I don't know. I looked at the other colorways for this yarn and like nothing was speaking to me to do that. And yeah, I don't know. Like this, I feel like that would be fun to do, like the body of the vest in one color with different color ribbing if they were like both fun colors, but this being so like neutral and plain, I feel like I gotta like stick with the neutral and plain. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's how my mind was thinking about it. But I think I'm just gonna keep working on it, buy more yarn, hope for the best that the color matches, and if it doesn't, we'll figure it out from there. Anything else to say about this? Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, I think it'll be a nice springtime piece. It's like kind of like wearing a tank top, but like a little more elevated. So yeah, I'm glad I resurrected this from the hibernating pile, and we'll keep you updated. Okay, that's everything I worked on. We will jump into acquisitions. So I had a gift card for a yarn shop that I had booked a class, wasn't able to make the class, got it back in a gift card, and was like, well, I guess I have to get yarn now. So I had about $100 to spend at this yarn store, so on that gift card. So I went this month and I made a couple purchases. The first being Pichinku. Not 100% sure how to pronounce that. But it is a Peruvian yarn brand, and it says all natural Peruvian yarn botanically dyed by women and women artisans. So also no chemicals, no nonsense, just beautiful yarn. I love this color. This like pinky, almost lilac-y color is just a color I love. And this was on their sale rack. So this was supposed to be $40, but they were 50% off. So I got 2 of them for $40. And it is a 70% merino wool, 30% mulberry silk. It is a sport fingering weight, and the yarn type is called Tawa. So it's their Tawa yarn. And this is a color Malibu. So here it is in all its glory. And with this, I think I made a plan. What was it? I've been trying to add like plans or ideas, concepts of future things into Ravelry on my queue, and then like actually listing the yarn that I think I'll use, just to like keep my floating ideas like somewhere. Yeah, I think I want to make the cloud tee with this. The cloud tee pattern by Petite Knit. It's just like a t-shirt, rolled neck, drop shoulder, pretty simple construction, but I don't know, I just really like the fit of this shirt. I think it would be fun to have it in this pink color. Would be a good spring top. So I think once I finish like at least one of these whips, then I will probably cast this on next or soon after. The next one I bought, this is a sock yarn it's dyed by the yarn shop owner. So all this yarn I got from Fiber Circle Studio, which is a yarn store in Petaluma, California, which is about 45 minutes north of San Francisco. So this is dyed by their owner, and maybe one other person dyes yarn. And so yeah, this is sock yarn. This is 75% merino, 25% nylon, and this is a colorway cranberry, which is just these like beautiful red tones, slightly very variegated, but nothing too crazy. And I wanted to buy this partially just because I really liked it, but also last year, around this time last year, I took a yarn dyeing workshop at the studio. I think that's kind of cool that I'm buying some hand-dyed yarn from where I learned how to hand dye yarn. So I haven't done much dyeing since, but I did learn it there. So anyways, yeah, this is that. And with this, I could totally make a pair of socks. You know, my sock knitting is slow, but maybe eventually I'll do that. But I was also thinking this could be a really fun bandana. So I might do a bandana, small scarf vibes with this as well. So a little bit TBD, but that's my current thoughts on this. And then the last thing I purchased is my first Let Lopey. I feel like I hear this talked about all the time. This is the Let Lopey yarn by Lopey. Oh my gosh, it's so many Lopies. Lopey makes the yarn. The yarn is called Let Lopey. This is 100% wool. It is definitely like some hardy Icelandic wool. Yeah, Icelandic wool. And yeah, I've heard great things about it. And I ended up getting 2 of each of these 2 colors. This darker one is color 1405. This is more of like a forest green, kind of dark green color. And then this is color 0109. And this is more of like a medium blue vibes. So, oh my God, I'm dropping yarn again. My thought here was I've been talking about this for some time. I really want to make felted slippers. And I kind of had that in mind when I went into shop, and then the shop had like multiple samples of felted slippers, and I was like, okay, this is a sign that I need to like buy the yarn to actually do it, because you need 100% wool that will felt. So you can't just like use any yarn. And one of their samples they used Let Lopi, and they just had a good color selection. But the reason I bought 2 colors is because I saw on Instagram, I believe it was Annie Sews is her handle. I saw that she made felted striped felted slippers. And I just thought these were so cool. Different color, but just thought they were really cool. And I think I might try this. I think she doesn't have a pattern for this, and I think she said she might make one. I could be wrong, but I might just try to like find a different pattern and just make it striped, just kind of wing it. But that's the idea. I think these 2 colors will be really fun in some striped slippers. Obviously, seasonally, this doesn't quite make sense to make it in spring. I don't know exactly when I'll do this, but yeah, I thought it was time to buy some yarn to eventually make some felted slippers. All right, that's everything. That's all of my finished objects, all of my works in progress, everything I got new this month. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I don't think I am. I was onto something here. There was something I forgot to talk about, which was my Stella quilt blanket by Laura Penrose. This is a long-term, larger scale blanket project I've been working on for the year of 2025, and my goal was to make 1 motif square per month, to have 12 total by the end of the year, and I totally did not work on it at all during the month of March. Yeah, I'll see when I get back to it, but just wanted to throw that in there in case you've seen my previous updates and were wondering where March's motif was. It does not exist yet. You can find me on Instagram at hannahwatts.studio for more real-time updates. Otherwise, I post these monthly updates every month, as well as some other videos here on YouTube. I just posted a spring and summer knitting pattern idea roundup, so I recommend checking that out if you haven't seen it already. Yeah, make sure you're subscribed to stick around here. If you're on Ravelry, you can add me there. What else? I think that's it. So with that, thank you so much for watching this video. Happy knitting, and I will see you next time. Bye.